Hi. So I've entitled this, I Want to Be Well. But what I really want to talk about is, do I want to be well? Which might seem like a funny question. We might presume that everybody wants to be well. Um, but I think from my experience over the years, actually, a lot of people don't want to be well. And that might be a subconscious thing. It might be quite difficult to acknowledge. And it's interesting that the National Institute of Health Research, when they're talking about depression, um, one of the questions they say that you can ask is, do you want or need, do you want to change? Do you want to change the situation? Do you need help? Do you want help? And it's something that I've seen with my patients again and again is I can suggest all sorts of things that might be helpful. And they kind of look at me and go away and come back and they haven't actually put into practice any of what I suggested. And that makes me think, well, do they really want help? Do they really want to change anything? And sometimes the question is no. So we have to be honest about that. I think the other thing is that often people want a quick fix. So again, with the students who I've worked with recently, often they want a quick fix, and we all want a quick fix, don't we? Me as well. And taking a tablet is something quick, or is perceived as quick. And it can make a difference quite quickly, taking an antidepressant tablet, but it doesn't solve everything. And then people get disappointed because a few months down the line, actually, a lot of the things that are in their life and making it difficult are still there, and their ways of thinking are still the same, and the unexpressed emotion is still there, and the lifestyle changes haven't been made. And so actually the tablets don't solve those things. And then they want to try a different tablet and a different tablet, and then none of the tablets work because actually we're not we're not wanting to look at what the real problems are. So I just want to think a little bit about, do I want to be well? Do I want to change things to be well? Do I want to work hard at some things in order to be well? Do I want to eat differently? Do I want to change my lifestyle? Am I willing to do that? What would it look like to be well? Now, there can be really subtle things around this. So, illness and the label of an illness can actually be part of our identity. So, I have patients who come and say, "Hi, I'm so and so. I am depressed. I am addicted. I am socially anxious. I am whatever it is," and it's almost like that's become part of their identity, part of who they are, and that does happen, and we know how to function within that realm. So I can know how to function as a depressed person because I know how it works, and I know that I get attention from people, and I know that I get care and I get looked after, and I know I don't have to put demands on myself sometimes, and maybe I don't work, or maybe I get monetary benefits. Now, when someone is ill, you need those things. I'm not saying that those things are wrong, but they're wrong if they become part of our identity, and they actually can become positive factors in enabling us to stay in the place that's actually not well. And we need to be honest about that. I had a friend who she actually had chronic fatigue syndrome, and she worked with lots of things and started to get better. And she honestly said to me one day, I think I maybe don't need my disabled badge now, and maybe I could think about work. But that's such a massive shift for me, because then that means I have to trust that I'm going to be okay every day. I have to put myself out there in situations that have been difficult, and I have to learn a whole new way of doing things. And she was right. And it was almost easier to retreat back and hold on to the old rather than embrace the new. Now, how do we know when we might be doing that? Well, I think it's important to be honest about what we're thinking. It's important to be honest about what we're speaking. And maybe it's good to chat to some friends that we trust about this. And maybe as a society, we need to be able to encourage each other to dare to get well, dare to go forward and be positive. And I think some of that is happening. It's helpful to think about our identity. It's helpful to think about what we speak and what we think about. So as well as the I am, sometimes we can notice the I can't. So I can't do that. I can't walk like that. I can't get a job. I'll never be able to. And we find ways of speaking, sometimes out of fear, sometimes out of anxiety, sometimes out of just the situation as it is, and we speak these things out, and they over and over again, and they become part of who we are and how we identify ourselves. And doctors and health professionals can speak things to us as well that are negative and form negative ways of thinking that are actually not true. And so again, noticing what we think, noticing what we speak, and starting to say, do I want to be well? Now the answer to that might be no. The answer might be no, actually, this is familiar. I know how this works. I'm going to stay here. And actually, I don't feel that I've got the capacity or the desire to change that. And that's okay if we're honest about that and we acknowledge that. But maybe it's good to acknowledge it and then just think, actually, let's get some help. Let's talk to a friend. Let's talk to a health professional. Let's get some CBT type therapy. Let's look at what we can change bit by bit by bit, small steps, and then see where we get to, just a step at a time, in a process of being willing to go into that unfamiliar and what we've been frightened of, and dare to think that we might be possible for us to be well.